This is Listening with Franklin Livingston, and our guest is Johnna Solan.
So, you talked about men, younger men and their emotions.
Yeah.
But if I were to ask you to speak on the behalf of women,
Right.
you know or you feel comfortable with that
Right.
group of women
Right.
who want to be in a healthy marriage, healthy relationship, date healthy men, emotionally stable.
Yeah.
What percentage of women are ready to welcome a weepy crying?
Not a lot.
Men.
Not a lot of them, because of where they're at mentally. A lot of women want to be emotionally carried more than men should be emotionally carried, but it has to be. I'm not going to say it's going to be 50-50 because it varies from day to day, obviously. Granted, this is just me speaking in my own opinion. No one take this to heart. Please take it with a grain of salt. But this is just from my own personal experience of family members, friends, and just interacting with people. And yes, sometimes even social media influence, because I do check some social medias. I feel like a lot of women are in a place where they want to be more emotionally carried than men. And within the presence of God, you have to be there for both. Men have to emotionally carry women and vice versa. You can't leave one hanging
Right.
over the other because you feel like your opinion or your emotions are more important. No, that's not how this works. You both value each other's opinions, even if you don't agree. You both value each other's feelings because they're both important. Because by showing that, you're also showing your kids how they should behave.
Right.
And how they should behave towards even their own emotions. And accepting that what they're feeling is okay and that they're able to tell you that. Because when they have a healthy viewpoint of that, then they're able to express it to other people as well. And I know for me, I will always tell a man, if you're in pain, granted, as I said, I've never been in a relationship. So if I ever were to get in one in any time soon and a man then felt the need to keep certain things inside of him, I'm not going to allow him to do that because that is not fair to them. And they need to be able to release whatever pain or heartbreak that they're going through or bad day that they're going through, because they need that release too. Whether it be us going on a walk, us going to the gym, us reading our Bible together, us praying together. You need that release just as much as I do. And it's important because that's the only way we're going to get through. Because if we tend to keep things inside day in and day out, either he's going to explode or I am. Or we both are at the same time, and we're going to end up saying stuff that we don't mean to each other.
Or even if not explode, what happens sometimes is, I think, then men find their own escape. They'll either be a part of a group, and God forbid, if they lose that group of friends, then they'll end up cheating or doing something dumb. It happened to one of my friends who got robbed, and he ended up in some sort of, like, I don't know, brothel or nightclub here in Queens, somewhere, and his Venmo was emptied, bank account was emptied, his wallet was taken and all that, because he was just feeling that disconnect. In many parts of the world, I've seen couples not really keeping that facade and sharing everything, how they're feeling, and even if they had a bad instance at workplace, so they wouldn't have men, they would come and share with the wife instead of thinking, oh my God, she's gonna look down on me, and all. But I've also seen, especially here, that some couples, they try to maintain a facade, and they kind of like segregate some of their life and keep some stuff for their best friends and some stuff for their spouses. And a lot of times I've seen that people would talk about very sensitive stuff with their best friends instead of their spouse, assuming, no, you don't talk about this stuff to your wife or husband. And I've also seen, if your best friend is of a opposite gender, sometimes you then end up in a therapy and telling him, oh, we got drunk and we had sex, and that wasn't my intention, it just happened, I know, I was going through something. So there are a lot of issues when you don't develop that strong bond where you are vulnerable with each other.
Mm-hmm. And I also feel like there's a connotation against men and women being friends, because I feel like if you put those boundaries in place, they can be friends. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the times within the films that we watch and even in the books that we read, that's also a specific trope, is friends to lovers as well. I understand that we love those stories. We love seeing two friends eventually get together and try to build a relationship off of a foundation that they already have. But sometimes that can turn out negatively too if they don't reciprocate the same feelings. But people have to understand, again, take this with a grain of salt. I'm not a psychologist. I am not any of that. Please take this with a grain of salt. I feel like there can be boundaries put in place for everyone to be happy. And a man and woman can be friends. Granted, if someone tries to stake claim on that person, then that's a different conversation. That means you wanted them the whole time. You just never actually expressed your feelings. And I feel like, again, take this with a grain of salt. I've always felt like if a person has feelings for someone, just tell them. Mm-hmm. Don't try to say, oh, I'm waiting for the right time, or I'm just waiting for him or her to open their... Don't do that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Always tell them straight up, I have feelings. I want to see where this goes. Please let me know. Yes, I know sometimes people don't want to do that because they don't want to ruin the friendship. But I feel like if your friendship was supposed to stand the test of time, you could express those feelings. But if not, then maybe you weren't meant to be friends. Again, take this with a grain of salt.
Sure. But come back to this friendship.
Yeah.
Best friend.
Yeah.
Sharing with best friend versus with your spouse. Who should we prioritize when you are going through a storm in your life?
God, and then your partner.
That's what I was talking about. But a lot of people don't do that. And I just don't know how to tell them, no, you talk to her or him. Yeah. Because that should make your bond stronger. Yeah. Because when you take the vows, what do you say? So through sickness and health and richness, there's a thing.
Richer and poor.
Poor, right? So, but unfortunately, that's not the norm. A lot of people hide some stuff or keep it on the side, and then you end up...
Some only do that out of fear because they're afraid of actually revealing themselves to their partner. And they tell their best friend because they feel like their best friend won't judge them for it. But if they really are your friend, they're going to judge you and tell you that you're doing wrong, depending on what it is. And they're going to set you straight because that's what they're supposed to do in your life. And yes, your partner is supposed to become your best friend, essentially, when you get married. Once you find that one person that matches you, that fits you, that God condoned for you specifically, that's supposed to be your other best friend. I mean, they don't have to always be number ones because some days you're going to be annoyed as heck with them.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
They're still your best friend first and foremost, and then whoever that other friend is, whether it be a guy or a girl, you may have to bump them down a bit because that person becomes your priority.
Right. And you talked about judgment. Mm-hmm. I think this word, judging. Are you going to judge me? I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to judge me. Oh my God, don't judge me. Don't take... These are, I don't know, these have become like, we were talking about these F words and all that has become part of our culture or just general speech, day-to-day speech. I think this term has also become a day-to-day thing where I personally don't think that it has such a wrong connotation.
Yeah.
So you use this term judgment. And what I heard you saying was, if your friend is your best friend for real, they're going to judge you. And then they'll straighten you or fix you or something like that, you said. Without judging you, how do you know where to improve? What are my areas where I need growth in, right? But there's so much pressure that I hear people saying this all the time. Are you going to judge me? Please don't judge me. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to wear this. Are you judging me? As if it's some sort of monster, who's always there to attack us.
There is always going to be judgment, whether it comes from a friend, whether it comes from a family member. It's just how you take it.
Right.
And I can say this, that I've taken constructive criticism very harshly because I didn't know how to take it. Because I've had it, but not in any aggressive format. Because sometimes there are times where people could just be straight up mean, yes, and then there's other times where it's supposed to be constructive criticism, but it comes out as an insult. But judgment comes in every sense of the form. Even when God comes, it'll be Judgment Day. That's what they're calling it, Judgment Day. So whether we like it or not, you're asking for someone's opinion. So of course they're going to judge you because you're asking for it. If you didn't want it, you shouldn't have asked.
But should we use the term evaluate or assess? People will feel better and say, hey, I want you to assess my outfit today. Or I want you to evaluate.
No, because it still has the same meaning at the end of the day, whether you change the wording or not. It still has the same meaning of, I asked your opinion.
So people want the opinion.
People want the acceptance over the opinion.
Because acceptance is always positive.
Yes.
And no one wants to hear the negative side of it. But unless there's a negative side of things, how can you improve? And I see that in the acting world. A lot of people don't like the direction. And when I see their facial reactions, they might not say that, but I sense it and I feel it, because maybe in their mind they're thinking, oh, he thinks I'm not good enough, I'm not loud enough, I'm not standing properly. Or when I ask somebody do you might want to drop your chin?
You're asking that because you want the shot to come out how you want the shot to come out.
Right. I mean, I want them to look good.
Yeah.
I want them to perform well.
Yeah.
And I know if their posture, for example, is not great, they won't look good. But what if they are hearing something else? Criticism. And when you use the phrase constructive criticism, but as human beings, maybe we just hear criticism and we don't pay attention to constructive.
It's hard to differentiate the two, because when you have someone that you care about say certain things to you, knowing that they're trying to help you, it's how they're saying it that you don't care for it anymore. Because tone is everything. Because I realize even with myself, even when I read text messages from people, I could usually read the tone of the text message. I'm not sure if everyone has that way of doing certain things, but
no, next time when there's a text I'm confused about, I'm going to call you and say, read it to me.
Because I could always tell either when someone's excited or sometimes annoyed or just indifferent about something. I've always been able to kind of tell the tone, because a lot of the times when I've gotten messages from friends and stuff, they're you could kind of sense that they're either annoyed about something or something's aggravated them or something's just upset them and they're not sure what to do. And then I end up either calling them or texting them back saying, hey, calm down, everything's okay. This is just a really rough patch for you right now. You're going to be fine. But most of the time, as I said, it's how it's said in a tone. It's not even how, it sometimes is the wording, but it's mainly the tone of how you're saying it.
Right. In some cases, it's more like an alternative. The example I gave was, say you read a scene and I'm directing you in a movie. and you have a particular perspective. You have a take on that scene. Here I come, we roll the camera, and I ask you to change it. Now, that has become almost your belief system. You believe that protagonist, the term used, hero of that movie, is going after such and such thing because of such and such thing. And I come and I say, yeah, maybe not. So when I'm challenging you right away, you might take it as a criticism. Oh my God. And then, of course, like, you can, if I were you, I would think like, so he doesn't really think that I am a master's in media communication. I've done this thing and that. So the whole system gets worked up. And I think the same thing happens in relationships. And then that fear, which you were saying, fear of being judged.
Yeah.
Fear of being judged and then using against me.
Yeah.
But if we develop the sense that we are in it, our goal is the same, we are one team, and he or she, my partner, wants me to become a better human being, so we could do the work we are called to, or together our goal is easily met.
Right.
It sounds easy.
It's not, though.
Yeah. What else? We have 10 minutes.
I guess thank you for all for listening.
You're welcome.
And thank you for having me on this platform. Granted, I've never done anything like this before, but thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts and my ideas and what's been on my chest in regards to like my faith, my happiness, my potential future in the eyes of God. And I really hope whoever does end up watching this isn't upset, and that they take most of what I said with a grain of salt, and that just know that your journey's not over with God. It's going to keep going, and you're just gonna have to keep riding along with him. And yes, the waiting period is annoying and it's frustrating, but you gotta keep pushing through with it because he knows what's best for you. You won't always know what's best for you.
Amen.
So always lead with God before anything else.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you, Johnna.
Thank you.
And thank you, Connery.